Right.
Well,
I love when it says you are live.
This is real life. We're here to share real
Indeed.
experiences that bring out the humor and motivations of regular day-to-day life. You're tuned in to Makeshift Motivation. Fill your cup with us on Facebook Live every Monday. Here are your hosts, Tammy Whistle-Hubbard and Ashley Valdez.
And that's her.
what's up?
Hello, my love. How are you?
Kiwasabi. I am fantastic. How are you?
I feel like it's been 100 years since we've done this, and it's really only been 2 weeks, but it's like, it feels like it's been a long time.
Yep. We're back,
Yeah.
for the first time in forever. Just kidding.
That's my girls singing and dancing and having a party over there. So how has your week been so far? It's Monday afternoon. So far, so good, right?
It's been like a whole week in like 5 hours.
Oh, in like 5 hours, yeah. Well, this is real life. Isn't that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of real life, I have a really cute story I wanted to share with everybody.
We're gonna drop a little here. Hold on. Boom. Because I gotta. Boom.
Makeshift news.
Makeshift news. It's a thing we're doing. We're doing it.
So it's like news, only not really. It's just something we found hilarious that we wanted to share with you guys.
Yes.
And the title of this article is Massachusetts Man Plants Christmas Trees in Potholes. So a Massachusetts man fed up with local potholes decided to take matters into his own hands by planting Christmas trees in the holes on busy roads. Kevin Martin said his plan began on Saturday night when he was on his way to pick up dinner in North Attleboro, Mass, when he hit a series of potholes on Route 1 and ended up with all 4 of his tires flattened.
No.
Now, I have to tell you, if that happened to me, Christmas trees would not be the first thing on my little mind. I would be mad, like really mad. So he said he had complained to the town about this before, and no action was taken, obviously. He says, I needed to make sure that it got fixed one way or another. I know that I'm not the only person who's gotten flat tires in that area. Martin said he went to Home Depot and bought some planting soil. He even put soil. He didn't just throw the trees in there. He really wanted the trees to stay. So he went and bought some soil, some small Christmas trees, and he planted the trees in the potholes on his way to work on Monday morning.
Not all heroes wear capes. I mean,
I'm telling you, I love this guy. Okay. I love this guy.
That's
he
hilarious.
said he wanted to force officials into taking action to fill the potholes. His gambit appears to have worked. The trees were removed and the potholes were filled Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Martin. You filled the potholes. I just found that hilarious because I would never think to do something like that. Fill the potholes with Christmas trees. Who does
I feel
that?
like, 4 flat tires would have come with some 4-letter words from
girl, you don't
a few of us.
I'm so mad. When the temper comes, right?
And that's your makeshift news. Hey!
That's it. So it's kind of like news, but not really.
Not really.
So I want to move on from makeshift news to makeshift motivation. Yes. We are super excited today because we have got a special guest with us today.
Yeah.
Who is, I have to tell you this. When Ashley and I first started our podcast, he reached out to help us in a big way and really gave us some fantastic advice when we were getting started. I have my little microphone all because he told me which one to get. So he's really fantastic. He's a marketing guy who has got it all together. I actually had a consultation with him this morning and was fantastic. Awesome. So without further ado, Ashley, let's bring Jonathan Collier onto the screen with us.
Welcome.
What's up, guys? You timed it perfectly because I was just taking a sip of my drink and I didn't want to have like the unflattering intro. So perfect.
And speaking of drinks, a little birdie told me that you really like coffee.
Oh, I have been labeled a coffee snob. So if I could take you with me into my kitchen, my wife and I have a coffee bar set up. And so we grind the beans, we mix the different beans together, play with the roast. We're like all French press, pour over. We have the Keurig, but we put it away a while ago. So I love my coffee. I just got back from Colorado. I was on a work trip there last week, and coffee culture in Colorado is legit. Ooh. And so, I am a huge fan of the coffee.
Well, you'll have to send us your address because Ashley happens to work as a representative for a company called It Works, and coffee is kind of their jam.
What?
So I'll have to have her send you.
Bruh.
When you get the equivocal bruh, you know it's good.
Yeah.
That's when you know. That's when you know. There are a few things that get that result from me, and it's usually really good tacos and coffee.
Tacos. No, who doesn't love tacos? I mean, come on.
That's how I figure out who can be friends with me. If you don't like tacos, we can't be friends.
I'm glad I like tacos.
You saw me before I started drinking the coffee, before I hopped on with everyone. Only Tammy usually sees the transition from I hate everyone to, oh my God, this is the best podcast ever. Coffee.
I like your coffee mug. It seems like it's kind of large.
Isn't it just, like 20 ounces large?
I have one that I've used. I've actually never used it on a live video again. I was in this writing cohort a couple of years ago, and I pulled this coffee mug out, and it's a big one, but I took a sip of it, and they took a screen grab of Zoom as I was sipping of it, and it covered my whole face.
I love it.
And so it looks like a bucket of coffee.
Just about there.
That would do for Ashley. A bucket of coffee would work, right?
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that a lot. Yeah.
So are you like a all day coffee, or are you like 1 cup a day, 2 cups a day? I see it's 3 PM. You still have coffee, so I'm assuming it's a.
See, okay, there's different kinds of coffee. There's like a coffee specifically for my morning, and then a coffee if like I need it for my midday snack, which is what this is right now.
I've never put coffee and midday snack in the same sentence. That's pretty impressive.
Hey, skills. I've been at it for a while.
There you go. Right. I have work to do then.
Yeah, apparently. Get out my level. You thought you were a coffee person.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to be here, and not to back up to the news thing, but I love the pothole story. I want to say it was real too. There was several years ago, like Domino's Pizza put a marketing campaign out where they went into neighborhoods and they paid for pothole repair.
Yes, awesome. I saw that actually. Yeah. That was recently, maybe last year. Even.
Yeah, like they had complaints where people were complaining about their pizzas getting destroyed from the cars hitting potholes.
Holy crap! I totally do remember that, and I think it was you, Tammy, that told me that story. That
was genius.
So they had someone in their marketing campaign who is now partly my hero, who was like, "Hey, this is totally unrelated, but if we want to meet customer service needs and increase our brand awareness, let's fix potholes."
Yeah. And here we are, 1.5, 2 years later, still talking about it. So.
Exactly. There's good marketing and bad marketing. That is a case of good marketing.
There you go. So in addition to, hey, Jessica just jumped on with us. In addition to telling us how great our story was, you also are the co-founder of High Touch Marketing. Mm-hmm. You also work with a nonprofit ministry. No, Right Side Up Leadership Podcast. That's the podcast you have coming.
I produce. Yep,
I'm reading all of the words all at the same time. I'm sorry.
Yep. And I work. Yeah, so I produce the Right Side Up Leadership Podcast, which is part of the leadership consulting firm, coaching firm that I work with, Stay Forth Designs.
Okay, that's where I was trying to get to with Stay Forth Design. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we are not a design company like you would think. We help overwhelmed leaders bypass burnout, and pursue health so that they can continue to reach more impact in their various spaces.
I love that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like burnout is too real.
Burnout is real, and it's not something that a weekend off will fix.
No, at all.
So
what is off?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What is off?
Yeah.
We don't have off switches, so we're not really
sure we have
off is.
I am the creative producer there. I largely live behind the scenes, produce the podcast. Anything that you see on social media there, I create and craft. Firmly believe in what we do. I actually came through the coaching process 4 years ago and found my way on the team. And we have a great team of coaches and network coaches that are all over the country helping leaders get healthy so they can reach more impact.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all do a lot. Holy cow.
He does a lot.
He does a lot. Yeah.
All of the things.
We were just discussing it before we came on that Jonathan is probably one of the few people who does more than we do. He's like everywhere.
Well, I would say this. You can do a lot. I would say you can do it a lot, and you can do it healthily and sustainably if it's underneath of what you're passionate about.
That makes a lot of sense.
And so with me, everything that I do is in the same lane. And so I can do different things, and it's easy to shift. I'm not going from like skydiving to scuba diving. Like I'm either living out of the water or in the water. And so there's different things there, but my passion for my why is what's anchored in all of those things.
Talk about it. Talk about your why. That's such a huge thing. Now you're big on the story being important.
I do.
I'm right there with you.
I do.
Yeah.
I think everybody has a story. Your story is powerful. And when whether it's for personal growth, for spiritual growth, knowing what your story is part of, when a business tells their story and you can connect your story with the hearts of your target audience, that's when you will grow.
Oh, my Lord.
I believe exactly what Simon Sinek says, that people will connect with your why and not your what. If you neglect to communicate your why to people and just tell them what you do, they don't care what you do. They want to know why you do it and how you can help them.
Yeah. They say facts tell, stories sell.
Not saying that what you do is not important, but don't
Right.
put the cart before the horse. And a lot of people put the cart before the horse.
This is the best already.
Holy smokes.
I know.
So,
Well,
like craziness, because I feel a little bit lost already. Okay, so we got started with our podcast through Jonathan's help. We also, y'all know how much we love this book, Atomic Habits. And Jonathan was actually the one who suggested that we read this book. And it is fabulous beyond words. So we highly recommend it to anybody out there who is looking for a way to change your life by making little tiny changes at a time. You don't have to change everything all at once. You don't have to wake up and be a completely different person. You can make little tiny changes. So thank you for that, because
you're welcome.
Onto that. It was a
what I love about that book in particular, and to anyone watching, I have always been skeptical about anything that comes off as self-help or life hacks or anything like that. And what I loved about Atomic Habits when it was recommended to me was that he teaches you not only just to do more things, but also walks you through unlearning bad habits. Yeah. So simultaneously unlearning bad habits while implementing good habits in a way that's sustainable. And really, it affirmed a lot of things that I was doing. So I started last year really unhealthy and came into New Year's Eve of last year like 65 pounds heavier than I am right now, and realizing that I had neglected my physical health in the last 3 years. I had really poured into my leadership and my emotional health and my spiritual health, but I realized that I wasn't going to be able to steward all that was given towards me this year if I continued to neglect the only body I've got. And so for me, making little changes to my physical health became an anchor habit or a keystone habit. And it wasn't until I read that book where it all made sense. I was already doing some of the stuff, but I didn't realize it. And then once I read what James Clear had to say, it was like, aha, this makes sense to me. So that became one of my annual reads. I listened to it, bought it, and I literally highlighted the entire book. So when I read it next year, I'll have to buy a new copy. But if you're watching this right now, and you want to make one small change, even if you're not a reader, go download the audio version and listen to it. He narrates it, and it's quite funny.
Yes. Well, I've not listened to it, but I have read almost the entire book, and it's fabulous. And it really speaks to you, and it's simple to read. It's not complicated. And, making changes and changing bad habits is too much. It's too hard. No, it's not. It's super easy. And you just don't even realize how easy it really is, So, okay. So
next.
I know, right? I feel like I'm like, okay, wait.
He does a lot. One of us.
So talk to us, Jonathan. You're in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and you serve on a team planting Story Church.
I am.
Local church set out to care for local military community. Tell us a little bit about that, because we love the military.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. So part of my story is that I tried to go in the military when I was coming out of high school. Would have graduated a year and a half after September 11th. And so all of my friends put their plans aside, and we're going to go in the military, and the government was throwing away tons of money for people to go in, tested off the charts, had it all laid out, did the delayed entrance program. Right before going in, I hurt myself and they wouldn't take me. And that was a big struggle for me for really up until about a year and a half ago. Had really wrestled with it. It was hard. I had friends that died. There's a lot of bridges in my hometown that are named after people that I knew that went in the military and came home or didn't come home. And it wasn't until the previous church that my wife and I were attending up in Richmond, I was on leadership there. The pastor announced he was leaving. He's like, hey, I'm leaving to go do this. God's called me to go do this. And he was former Navy. And he was like, I think you're supposed to come with me. And I'm like, I don't know. And then people started saying why are you not church planting? You hang out with a bunch of church planters and you help people and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? And so my wife and I talked about it. We did. And so Story Church we're in Virginia Beach now. And if you're not from Virginia Beach is home to a very, very large concentration of military, predominantly Navy. And there's, SOF or Special Forces guys here. There's some Air Force on the other side of the tunnel, but there's a large concentration of Navy, and the local community likes to care for the Navy. But as Story Church will tell you, we believe that your story is important, that we were all created by the person who's the author of our story. And, God has this big plan for us, and we often try to live outside of his purpose in us and his story and the way where he wants us to go. What we tell people is we try to live life like a submarine when he really made us as an aircraft carrier. And so we can live life saying, dive, dive, dive. That aircraft carrier is not going to dive below the surface of the water. It might go underwater, but it's going to sink. And so we care for the local community. The military community is here. There's a lot of, if you're in a military family or relationship, that there's a lot of loneliness and a lot of sense of not belonging, because you have one spouse or the other is detached, and who's caring for someone back home. And so we really just want to be here to show people to love people like Jesus, and just to be a part of the community and care for the local military, whatever that looks like.
Wow.
That's freaking amazing.
And one of the big bridge builders is it's a way for us to connect with people who really say, I'm not Christian, or I don't really like the church. I don't really know this Jesus you speak of. So it's a good way for us to create collective overlap and say, look, we're here to love on the military. And we found that even people that aren't quote unquote Christians or followers of Jesus, they're like, we still want to get behind you and support that. So last year we had this big outreach event where we formed this huge obstacle course. It was designed by Naval Special Warfare, and we did the whole thing to raise money for an organization called N22, which exists to raise awareness for the 22 active duty and vets that commit suicide every day. And so we raised $5,000 as a very, very young team of people, small. And we're in the community, and the people were like, we've never seen anything like this. Nobody's doing this. What's different about you guys? And we're like, we just care. We're not doing anything different. We're just doing what the word says. And we raised money to donate to this group here in town that does hyperbaric therapy to combat TBI and PTSD and therapy. So
you said we just care, and I got the biggest wave of goosebumps and stuff. Wow.
We really just care.
There's so much. That's all you have to do is just care a little bit. You don't have to be able to throw $1 million at a problem. You don't have to be able to solve all of the world's problems all at once. Just a tiny little bit of caring and nurturing and a little bit of love. And, you know, for a group of people, my husband is a Vietnam veteran.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously our story is, like so many others, it's a story of I came home and, you know, there were not any nice words for me when I came home, and there weren't any, you know, when you're spit on when you get off the plane, and just all kinds of, you know, we all know, we've all heard the stories of the Vietnam veterans. So just imagine what one kind word does, you know, never mind a whole event where you're actually raising money to help. It's amazing. That's fabulous.
And it's not just that. We're hooked up with a couple of other organizations too, doing some things. We just want to know that we want people to know that, look, we're here, we're in the community, we care, and we're real. And so we have, we've set up a stuff called Red Groups, which is Remember Everyone Deployed. And so we've sent care packages out to several of the aircraft carriers that have been out. We've gotten names of people that are on the ships, and we'll package up, 12, 15, 16 boxes at a time, which in each box is enough for a number of people on the ship, and send out, things that they need, good socks, t-shirts, the really good candy, not crappy candy, like really good candy, just movies, and in their connect cards for Story Church. And so they may never even meet us, but they'll know that, man, these people with this small church, they really care. And it's not about us. It's just about being on mission in the community and loving people the way we're loved, and just letting people know that we're here, we care, and we're for you. And also caring for families. If a family has someone that's deployed, not only are we going to care for that person and pray for that person that's away, but if you need help, we're here to help you too. So.
Wow. I feel very emotional right now.
It's been interesting with COVID, but we've been able to kind of adapt and pivot and navigate through it well. But it's really interesting. And for me, even though I've always struggled with not being able to go in the military, I think I have to believe this is why God didn't let me go in the military then, that I'm positioned here to do this.
You had another purpose.
One, because all of the other things that I do with technology, I'm getting to put to work. Like, I love marketing with a meaning and relational marketing, and I'm getting to put, even through COVID, a lot of those skills to work through with how we were able to adapt and still meet, during COVID. So yeah, that's Story Church.
I
love that.
I know, right? I want to go to church with you guys now. That's awesome. And what you mentioned about pivoting, and a lot of us have had to do that over the last 8 or 9 months. I talk about it all the time. I opened my company in August of 2019. I took my first order in October of 2019, and I had a pandemic in March of 2020. So
everyone had a 2020 vision that did not go as planned.
Yeah. So, we could sit around and cry about it, and we could say, oh, poor me. But we don't. We have to say, okay, so what do I do? How do I fix it? How do I work within that? And that's what Jonathan's really good at. So if you, I will say that when I had my conversation with you this morning, I was like so excited when I went out to talk to my husband. I was like, oh my gosh, now I know how to do this and I know how to do that. And I had 3 pages of notes and all of that. So if you are looking for somebody to help you with your company, and you're working within a tight budget, it was great that I got professional help, and it didn't have to cost me a fortune. So big fat shout out to you guys for that.
Well, thank you.
And the whole pivoting thing is, it's easier for some companies than it is for other companies. And I think that makes a big difference to those of us that are running those companies that really depended on, I'm a promotional products company. I wanted to, I work with companies that are going to events and they're doing special things. And, so when all of that goes away, it's like, okay, well, now what do I do? So I've been able to adjust a little bit And, it's not what I had intended, but like you said, nobody in 2020 is, getting what they intended. Some people were able to do that a little bit easier than other companies. So it is really great to have somebody that you can reach out to that can help you with those kind of things. Because it's okay not to know what to do. It's just not okay not to ask for help when you don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I think that's a big one. I think with this year in particular, especially when it came to businesses trying to figure out where to go, because all of a sudden you have this big fear of like all of my income's going to dry up, and oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I think the ones that adapted well are the ones that realized, wait, why I'm doing what I'm doing hasn't changed. What I'm doing looks a little different. How I'm delivering it, that's what's changed. And if you flip the lens from transactional to relational, and realize that I can still put my products in front of people. I can still get my message in front of people to build relationships and generate revenue, but it's going to look a little bit different. And so that means switching up from playing the scale game, very short, to the long game, and saying, okay, how can I, instead of looking at everyone as a lead in a transactional sale, how can I flip that and look at them as a relationship to build?
Yes.
To then create a devoted fan of my brand, to where I may give someone something away for free right now. They may not come back and pay for it, but if I give them enough value, they may go tell 3 or 4 other people that then come back and say, hey, I need that. And so those are the businesses that I think have pivoted well and will continue to do so, because like it or not, COVID's not going to go away. And even once it's gone, I think the business model and the outlook of business has totally changed forever.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. You have to be willing to change and adjust. And, like I said, if you don't know what to do, then you got to find somebody that can help you do it. So.
Yeah, don't get wrapped up in the success game. And that's another one that I saw people chasing. Like, man, I have all these things I want to hit and I've got to be successful. Well, unpopular opinion is success is really just a false summit. There's things that you have no control over that are going to change. And unless you keep your head on a swivel and understand those things that are changing and know how to adapt to them, and then you'll get to that place where you're like, I finally gotten to the peak of the success mountain. Then you'll look and realize, oh, there's another one that's taller and gnarlier right behind it. Now I got to get there. And what that's going to require is then saying, all right, how am I going to grow some more? What are the tools that I need to change? What's the technology that I need to implement? What are the relationships I need to build? And so that's all changing. The relational components becoming even bigger as we look in towards next year.
And another big one, or big thing for me, and I think for a lot of business owners, is not to compare your level of success with somebody else's level of success, because what is success to you is not the same as what is, there's a lot of my friends right now who are super busy, have no time to do anything because they have got so much business. They do not know what to do with it. And then there's others of my friends like myself that are much slower, that don't see the progression in their business the way they had hoped. And, quite frankly, have struggled a little bit through this all, but I'm still here. The lights are still on, baby. The lights are still on, there's still power. So we're still moving forward. So I think that's a big thing too, is just, and I'm sure Jonathan's going to agree, you don't compare your success to other people's success.
No, the comparison mentality will eat you for lunch.
Yes.
What I will 100%. Tell you is that it's good to look at what other people in your niche are doing. Analyze what they're doing. That's called social listening and social observation. Watch what they're doing, but you have got to have a firm pathway where you're going to go. I'm always looking ahead to where I want to be 6 months to a year from now, and then I'll back up. What does this look like in a year? What does it look like 6 months, 3 months, a month? And then next week, all the way down to the day, the incremental steps to go back to atomic habits. Own that and live in it. And then when you look to these other organizations, you can see, well, they're doing this, and you can take what they're doing and adapt it to your plan to help you along the way. But don't just compare, because you're not seeing what's below the surface of the water. All you're seeing is the tip of their iceberg. You don't know what they're spending on paid advertising. You don't know what their strategy is. You don't know. There's a lot of variables that you just don't know of, that when you compare what you're doing to what they're doing, it'll just eat you for lunch. It'll make you frustrated, and you'll think, well, I'm failing.
Yes,
Ashley and I talk about it all the time.
You can't compare your chapter 2 to somebody's chapter 47, because you have no idea what their other 46 chapters look like. There's no way you're gonna, like you said, it's gonna eat you up, and you're gonna want to quit. And No.
Yeah, I mean, instead of looking at somebody else's success with those green eyes of envy, that you look at their success and say, okay, what are they doing that I can adjust myself to, that I can find will work for me?
Mm-hmm.
And that has been huge for me too. Like I said, with several of, my friends that are business owners, to look at what they have done and say, oh, that's a really great idea. I bet I could adjust something like that to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to do that. So we talk about that all the time. That's my Zig Ziglarism.
You've got to develop a habit for reverse engineering. Look at what everyone else is doing. Pay attention to it. I use the example of standing in a room with 1,000 other people, and they're all dressed just alike. You're all, look alike, dressed alike. You're talking alike. But what are you going to do that's going to make the person with the spotlight in the room shine it on you and say, there's something different about that person? And you figure that out by watching what other people are doing and saying, they're not doing this, but I'm positioned to do specifically this in the digital marketplace. So that's how I can reverse engineer that and adapt it to my strategy to then go forward.
Right. A little bit of creativity. And
there's a lot of work there. So don't ever lose sight of when you see what someone else is doing. You don't know what years they've spent identifying. Like, they know their target inside and out, and they're reaching specific people in a way that you're not going to reach them. And that gives peace of mind when you're developing a plan to going forward. You are going to reach a specific group of people with a specific message about a specific product, service, or cause. And it's uncomfortable to think that there's some people that aren't going to benefit from that. So the natural result is to say, my target is 18 to 65, male and female, living and breathing.
We talked about this morning, yes.
And that's going to stink you. And it's uncomfortable to think that. But when you realize, you know what? I'm called, and what I'm skilled at is to reach small businesses, nonprofits, and church ministries who are operating under a threshold of this many dollars, but all have similar pain points of how do I engage the digital space. Then you can position, that's my niche. Those are the people I'm going after. Those are the people I want to build relationships with, whether it's promotional products, whether it's coffee, whatever it is. Own who you're going to reach. Aim small, miss small. Aim big, you'll miss big.
Nice. I like that. So you are also co-author of High Touch Marketing, How your small business, nonprofit, or ministry can stand out in the digital space. And just seeing that, I felt like it was important to share, because especially this year, everything went digital. So
it did.
I just wanted to throw that out there. So whoever's listening may want to pick that up.
Shameless plug. It's an easy read, and it's a strategy that will guide you through some basic principles if you're looking to gain some traction in the digital space. And what I mean by digital space is, some people are like, what does he mean by that? For years and years and years, the marketplace was brick and mortar. It's where most businesses have done. It's been transitioning more and more, but when you hear me use the word digital space or digital marketplace, it means an extension of the marketplace, which is now well on the other sides of our screens. And 2020 thrust us into a place where that was the predominant way we've done business.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people got uncomfortable with the social medias this year, but you had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know, when I first started my company, I was like, I don't need a Facebook page. God, nobody goes on Facebook for business.
They do, and it's shifting. It's always shifting, and so it's why it's important to learn.
Yes.
But I will say this: be very cautious when you go to Google. If you Google how do I use Facebook, it'll come back with a billion different search results in a minute of how each individual person says to use it. So don't try all the things. Pick one thing and just take consistent steps.
Consistency. Mm-hmm. That's a cuss word, but it's a good word.
We say consistency yields credibility, which yields trust.
Ooh.
Okay, so if you do things the same all the time, people know that that's what you do, which is going to make them trust you because that's what you do. Yeah.
For example, if you commit to using a social media platform, when you commit to using it, don't overcommit. Don't say, I'm going to post 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Commit to posting once a day, 5 days a week.
Right.
And then add more on there. If you commit to saying, I'm going to be here 3-4 times a day, then you can't show up. People are going to leave and go somewhere else, because when they follow you, they've given you permission to loiter on their digital real estate. And so when they say, yeah, I'll follow you, they expect you to show up.
Yeah.
So.
That is so true. That is so true. I say
Same. Go ahead.
Sorry. I say consistency over time times a little bit of faith equals big gains.
So I'm planning to go kidnap Jonathan. So
for real.
If anybody's looking for him, don't worry. Don't worry. He's okay. I'll take good care of him. I told him this morning, I'm like, so when are you coming over? Because I can cook if you can just come fix all this for me.
We will make you a buffet of every kind of taco and it'll be fine.
No kidding, right? I can do tacos. That's easy.
Yeah, I have the joke that I think tacos are like a handheld culinary adventure.
I like that.
Yeah,
it really
are.
is. I mean,
they
there's a place that I love in Colorado that's outside of a microbrew, and they have like craft tacos. And so there is a difference between street tacos and craft tacos, but these are like the guy there is phenomenal. I've had like Thai tacos that were unbelievable.
Dude, Thai tacos. That sounded like, whoa.
Yeah.
My words are gone. My stomach was like, Thai tacos.
I have no words. Yeah. Really good. Yeah. It sounds amazing. Tastes even better.
Wow. Yeah. Nice. Check that out. All right, road trip. We're going to Virginia.
This is actually in Colorado.
Colorado.
It's in Colorado. Oh,
even better. Let's go.
We're gonna be hungry long before then. Although this is a beautiful time of year to go to Colorado. So
it is. Every time of year is a beautiful time to go there.
Yeah, my daughter went there for her birthday a couple years ago. She went to Breckenridge and stayed with friends. So yeah, it's beautiful out there for sure. Shout out to Colorado.
It's on the list. I like
there
it.
You go.
I like it a lot.
So now, as a dog lover, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that you also have 2 Labrador Retrievers and 2 kitty cats.
We must talk all of it.
Want to know something really funny about the Labrador Retrievers?
Yes.
I've done some dog showing in the past.
Ooh.
Like, like you dress up in the suit and you run around the dog show.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of the. I haven't done it in a while. My mother-in-law, she breeds and shows labs out in Texas, and so we when we lived in Mississippi for a while, my wife went to Ole Miss, and so when we were in Mississippi for a while, we went all over doing dog showing. So it's fun. I enjoyed it. It's different. It's exercise, especially if you're like me and running around and it's like it's already hot and you're wearing a suit with dress shoes. Yeah.
Sounds like a blast. Yes.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. But yeah, love my dog. We love our dogs. They're great. We treat them like people. We talk to them like they're people.
Yes.
Which surprisingly, people think you're weird for doing that. I think it's totally normal.
Dog people, I feel like I feel like we think that's normal.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, at least here it
dog
is.
Culture?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes.
We've been out in public and people were like, why do you talk to your dogs like that? I'm like, why don't you talk to your dogs like that?
Yeah, no,
know, right?
It's
like,
weird if you don't talk to your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know if you can see on the couch behind me, but there's my little guy right there.
Yep.
My forever friend.
Yeah.
He's always with me.
Yeah, and they have wildly different personalities. Our one dog is not a morning person. And I'm very much a morning person. So one of them is, and he'll get up with me. The other one will then jump in the bed with my wife and flip upside down and not want to get up. So it's funny how their personalities are different. And the one thinks like every day is the best day ever. And so he's like, yes, it could be raining and thunderstorming outside. And he's like, yes, I'm awake. I'm like, you have a very great outlook.
I love that.
If you could bottle that, right? Wouldn't that be fabulous?
The world would be a much better place.
It'd be so positive. Rainbows and sunshine everywhere.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I tell my husband all the time that, if I ever get the chance to come back after I'm gone, I want to come back as one of our dogs. They haven't made in the shade in there, let me tell you. They got it good for sure.
Yeah.
And they should, because they give unconditional love. So there you go.
My guy's knocked out on his spot down there, like usual, under the desk. Just out.
We love our puppies around here for sure. So, Jonathan, you do a lot of stuff, and I really thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today because, wow.
Well,
wow.
I enjoy doing it. And like I said, any of the listeners, watchers, wherever they exist, our company, High Touch Marketing, we really cared about helping people take consistent next steps. You don't need confusing strategies and big budgets to make gains in the digital space to increase, the number of people that see you. There's a way to do it. We don't claim it's the only way. We just have to be really good at this way because we're practitioners. We've used it.
Yeah.
And we'd love to help people, what we say, connect their message with more eyes, ears, and hearts. So.
And be on the lookout for the podcast that is this week.
It is coming. It'll come this week. If you want more information, this is what I would suggest people do. If you head to Facebook and just follow along with High Touch Marketing, or if you go to marketingmonthly.info/HTM and fill the little form out, you'll be up to date as soon as it drops. And there may even be some freebie stuff in there for you too. But the Everyday Marketer podcast, super practical, short episodes. Each one is designed to help you actually make some progress with marketing your brand if you do what's in the episode. Super simple.
I love that so much. I love it a lot. And
we will check it out for sure.
I definitely have like all the podcasts and all the books and all the things that he does written down.
Again, don't overwhelm yourself with all the things. Just pick one. Just pick
a thing. We can't do all the things. I know,
yeah,
right?
Well, we talked about the 90-10 principle this morning. So when it comes to even consuming content, like 90-10, pick 10% of it should be stuff that you just dabble in and just, hey, I want to try that out some. Then the 90% of the few things that you're like, this is really in my jam right now. So
I love that. And I want to touch back on the church serving military stuff because I am big on music ministry. I founded and own and run AV worship ministry.
Nice.
So if ever you find, thank you. If ever you find the need to do maybe some virtual worship, that would be a lot of fun for me. And I would especially love to have that out there for military families.
Yeah, you can track along with Story Church right over, easiest way is on Facebook, storychurch.live, right on Facebook. Another thing is if any of your folks are interested, we did because I'm also big in the leadership world. I love, healthy leadership. Stay Forth Designs, we put out a online summit earlier this year, actually back in October, not earlier this year. Everything seems really far away, even though it only happens called Healthy Leaders Summit. And we brought together 40 leadership practitioners who donated their time to over 4 days to speak on different topics. And all of the funds went to Compassion International to sponsor their 100% of the funds. Too. We partnered with them and 100% of the funds went to Compassion. They did some talks over the summit and it's over, but you can later this week, there's an all access pass that you can get, and we're still donating half the funds of it to Compassion. And that is going to go on sale this week with bonus content. Later in the week, you can access all 4 days of content. We spoke on healthy leadership principles, emotional and physical health, racial reconciliation, and social justice. So all different topics, 40 talks over 4 days, and you can access all the content if you just go to healthyleadersummit.com. So
that's so much. That
was a lot of fun. We really cared for health of leaders, and we know that whether you're a business owner, ministry leader, nonprofit leader, there is a huge wave of burnout that's coming. And on the backside of everything we've been through this year between elections, and we really wanted to create a space for people to come and not just consume more online content. So we really turned it into an experience. There's like encouragement videos. The beginning of each day has some worship, just encouragement worship, opening notes, and really good stuff. So I would encourage anyone who's looking to kind of grow and want to make next steps heading into 2021. That is a great resource that's out there.
That is a great resource. And something, the burnout thing that's a real thing.
It is.
That's a real thing, y'all.
It is.
So many of us are now working at home where we were used to working out. I mean, Ashley and I have both been at home for a little while now, but I even find myself working so many more hours than I ever have before. And you get kind of burned out. Like you're just tired. You're just like, you're working, but you don't even really feel like you're getting anything done because you're just tired. You're moving too much and doing too much.
Yeah. Try it with twins. It's not fun.
So I helped our team design this guy. And it's the journal that I use.
I forgot about this, Ashley. I was going to tell you about this too.
It's the journal. Wow. It's the journal that I use. And if you're like me and you don't like planners that break your day down by hour to hour to hour, this guy is really cool. It gives you enough structure to guide your day and enough freedom to be able to be creative and take notes. It's really designed for the entrepreneurial creative, the right brain creative who needs some of the left brain structure. Oh my God. The difference in this is each day has a purpose and it breaks your day down into morning, afternoon, and night. So, and the one big thing you want to get done each day. So for everyone who's working from home, who has lost the structure of work hours and starting your day and ending your day, this is a solid tool. We spent over a year designing this and it has changed a ton of people's lives. So if you want to know more about that, rightsideupjournal.com.
I was just going to say, how do we get it, Jonathan? How do we get it?
I'll message you the links. It's on sale right now. It's 20% off while supplies last. And when you purchase one, you gain access to a community that we built around it where there's tons of other leaders that are in it in different spaces that will talking through how they're using it, how they're growing. Our team of coaches jump in and talk and share from time to time. So it's a really cool resource. And if you're someone who has found yourself working from home and working more, it's a great tool to implement the rhythms that are in there. It's designed to help you create margin and space.
I love me some journals.
Mm-hmm. So when you said that, I figured
we will be getting that one for sure.
And it's a quarterly journal, so it takes you through 90 days. And then it'll remind you to order a new one. And so you can track along throughout the year and see all the progress you've made. It's full of quotes, questions, scribble pages, all kinds of stuff in there.
I like that. And didn't you say also that it had
everything I need?
I know, right? I told you. Doesn't it have like a daily inspirational quote or something?
Yeah, it does. So there is, let me flip to the page. It's going to be backwards. But in there, it's going to ask you, it'll give you quotes on this side and then questions about the quote. Every Thursday, there's a set of questions. Like you've got blank scribble pages. There's a weekly recap, a weekly forecast. Each day, it'll ask you what's the one big thing you have to get done that day. What's going to be your rest day throughout the week. And it encourages you. And at the beginning of it, it helps you set up rhythms and daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, and yearly goals and how to process through them. So we spent a year looking at other journals, looking at questions from people that we were coaching and taking all of it and distilling it all down into what became the Right Side Up Journal.
And you don't get just the journal, you get that community too. So
you get the community. It comes with the community. We encourage you to track along with the Right Side Up Leadership Podcast, which all of it is one brand within a brand underneath the Stay Forth Designs. And it's probably what I would say is the most practical leadership tool to help you make consistent strides towards leading healthily and help putting healthy rhythms into your life, whether you're the business leader, whether you're the ministry leader, whether you're the nonprofit leader, whether you're just leading at home, whether you're just a family and you're like, so many different types of people are using it. Yeah.
Or if you know somebody that might benefit from having the journal, feel free to go buy them a Christmas present. Yeah. If you know somebody who might benefit.
I almost passed out listening to everything that's in there.
It's designed for the right brain creative who also needs like left brain structure but doesn't like a lot of structure. Like me personally, I hated the hourly planners. I like being able to say, this is what I'm gonna do in the morning, afternoon, night. Each day has a purpose and it's simple. 10 minutes a day is all it takes to fill it out.
Oh my God, you found your target audience. Hi, I'm Ashley B and I'm
Well, feel free if you head over to Right Side Up, if you go to rightsideupleader.com, you'll see a button right in the middle of the page for the journal and it'll take you right to where you can see all about it.
We're going to have a lot of links for our listeners
Yeah.
Would it be
there's a
easy
lot
for
of
me?
links.
Do you have them all? Would it be easy for me just to message you links to the various things?
Please do, because
You got
I certainly want them for myself as well as everybody listening.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so we'll do that. Absolutely. We'll post all the links so you guys can anything that we've talked about today. Jonathan will send us the links so we have everything there for you. If you're
So
interested in talking with him and getting some help for your business, I would highly encourage you to do so. I did it.
Yeah, no, jump on a 30-minute call, whether you choose to move beyond there. If you've got questions, reach out. I'll make sure that these nice ladies have my contact information, but you can follow along with High Touch Marketing on Facebook. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a friend request on Facebook. You know, I enjoy connecting with people. If you have questions, I want to answer them. 30 minutes is not going to be a sales pitch. You will leave with value to take at least one next step. And if I think that I can add value beyond there, I'll recommend it to you. If not, no pressure.
Boom.
There you go. There you go. Well worth the cost of, what is the expression? Well worth the cost. I don't know the expression. Never mind. We're moving on from that.
We'll just let that one go.
There was an old expression that was trying to come out and it's gone. So we'll just forget it. Just moving on. Makeshift motivation. It's like motivation, only makeshift.
Sort of.
So this episode has not been makeshift anything, because this is the real deal, you guys. This is the real deal.
So much excellence just happened. Wow.
Yeah.
so
really,
much,
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. And like I said, everybody, we're going to post all the links for everybody so you will get them. We're going to go because Ashley and I are going to go order our journals now.
You think we're playing?
No, I already have it typed in up top, so I'm going. No, as always, everybody, thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it. And we'll be back next week with some more makeshift motivation. Bye, everybody.